This week, Jamestown City Council approved the mayor's nomination for police chief, making interim chief Tim Jackson the city's next top law enforcement leader. Joining us live on the program to talk about his vision for the department is Chief Tim Jackson. Sir, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, in the last few months, you've had some time working in the chief's office as interim chief. Now that you've been sworn in, what's it like officially taking over the reins of the department?
It's pretty exciting, actually. I have a lot planned for the department, a lot of initiatives I'd like to start on, and some of them we have started on to a degree. But now that it's official, I've got a lot of ideas I'd like to have implemented, and we plan on getting started on that. Pretty exciting.
Perfect. This year we've seen a lot of everything from the COVID pandemic to protests surrounding police injustice. For you, what's your plan to guide the department through this time?
More community engagement, more engagement with the community from the police department. I've got a lot of feedback from the community. They'd like to see more officers walking the beat. We've started doing that, weather permitting. More bike patrol. We've started that. Obviously, we can't do that this time of year, but that's something that we're going to do more of. Posting our weekly statistics of what the department does. We've started doing that on our social media platforms. Cultural diversity training, awareness training. We're going to do that. And one of the big things we plan on doing next year is the Citizens Police Academy. And that acts as a great tool for communication between the department and the community. And we learn probably just as much, if not more, than the citizens that attend it. So we have a lot in store.
Yeah, certainly. And I know the city in the past has had a good amount of neighborhood watch groups, but over the years, interest has slipped a little bit. With having that academy, is that so that people can come and kind of understand a little bit more what the police are going through on a day-to-day, but also the officers understand a little more perspective from those who live here?
Yes, that's exactly it. They would get an inside look as to what the police officer's training is, and they would have a better perspective of why the officers do the things he or she does on the job. And it's a great tool to have.
Yeah, certainly. Now, for the community, there is a lot that people are talking about. I know the mayor has addressed that he really wants a chief who can connect with the community, and it sounds like you're already heading on that path. How important is it to talk with people and get to know them better, but also understand what issues that they have?
It's extremely important. I think the chief's position, one of the duties of a chief is to be the bridge between the community and the police department. I think if you have that solid bridge, we can all work together. We all can become partners. And events like a town hall meeting where there's open dialogue, extremely important.
Now, a lot has changed in law enforcement over the last few years. For you, what's the biggest thing that has changed for policing within the last decade?
Within the last decade, I would say partially the Governor's Reform Act. I don't think it's a reform act per se. I think it's reevaluating your policies and procedures as a police department and getting community input as to what the community wants out of its police department. I think we need more community input and engagement. I think that's the biggest change.
Where do you think that the perceived disconnect has come from? You know, when you look, maybe not so much locally, I know we've had some protests and we've had groups, but at the same time, you see that communication almost immediately. Your predecessor, Chief Snellings, went to the first of many protests that they had and talked with the community. But in other areas, there isn't that discussion. For you, what do you think stands in the way from talking back and forth?
I think we need to just put more effort into doing it. I don't think there's really any barrier per se that stands in the way. I think we just need to focus on that more and make sure that happens. I think we have an excellent group of officers here, detective supervisors, and if we work together, we can accomplish anything, I think. So, and that's one of them. We will accomplish that. Better community engagement.
Is that what is leading the discussion going forward, is trying to get more engagement from the community, and not so much transparency, because from our perspective in the news media, JPD does a good job of keeping everyone in the know, whether it would be various crime crackdowns, arrests, just public awareness almost, especially say the seatbelt thing, the seatbelt law that they changed. So now you have to buckle your seatbelt in the back seat of a car. Something like that. It's not so much, well, day one everyone's going to get a ticket, but rather just kind of talking to people and saying, this is the new change, this is what we have to do to keep people safe.
Yes. Yeah, we need input. The community plays a big part in how the police does its job. So we need the input, and we want to hear from the community what they want out of their police department. What's
the best way for people to do that?
Well, there's a lot of different ways. They can simply call and meet with me. We're going to be setting up town hall meetings. We've been having community group meetings. Currently, there are stakeholder meetings to work on the governor's plan, where a citizen can volunteer to be part of a group and put their ideas out there. So there's quite a few ways to do that.
Well, we thank you so much for your time today. Finally, what is your message to people living here in Jamestown?
Tell the police department what you want. Communicate to us. We need to hear it.
All right. Jamestown Police Chief Tim Jackson joining us on the broadcast today. Sir, thank you for your time. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.